What's going on YouTube? West Hobbies RC. So we are back with the OMP Hobby M2. We are on the final step of the rebuild on this helicopter. So in this video we'll be showing how to change your servo horns, and the way that there's two ways you can do it. One, you can take the servo out, of course, as if you've seen the replacing the tail boom video. We just left this servo out. We had to do it for the wires, but there's two ways you can do it. You can try to center your servo by hand, which these servos are a little hard to move, but you can get it pretty close, pop the servo horn, and get it back on. But that doesn't mean it's 100% straight, and you want everything to be level. So the way we're going to do it is I have my Radiomaster TX16S, which is what I fly this helicopter with, and I have it powered on in hold mode. I'm going to go ahead and plug the helicopter in, and we are going to go into the flight controller and go to servo setup and go to centering mode. Okay, so now all of our servos work like they should. So now we're gonna go and push and hold the set button until it flashes. Okay, and now we are going to push and hold again until we get to servo. Now we are in servo mode. Everything is centered. They should be centered. Yeah, servos are centered. As you can see here, it's straight. The servo is straight. So now I have our replacement servo horns that came with the helicopter. I have another pack of them too. I bought them a while ago just to have them. So we are going to go ahead and get a servo horn out. We have our driver, which is, of course is a Phillips, I believe. It is a Phillips, so we need a Phillips. Let me grab that real quick. Then we can go ahead and get to taking these servo horns off. I thought it was 1.5. So anyways, I'm back. Sorry. So now we're going to go ahead and we are going to take the screw out. We're going to set the screw aside, and we are going to pop off our broken horn here. So now we have the broken part off. So now we know that the servo is going to go in this way with the splines up. So we need to put the servo horn on this way. So now we can go ahead and get it on to where it's straight. And we can push it down. And then we can go ahead and put our screw back in. And now that we know this servo is completely centered, and we can do some fine adjustments if need be, but this servo is perfectly straight. So now we are going to take our push rod here, and we are going to hold the nut on this side, take our 1.5 millimeter driver, and we are going to spin this out. We're going to hold the broken part here, broken part of the horn. And then we also know that this control, the ball link goes to the outside, the push rod. So we're going to go ahead and get this screwed on. We will take our nut we have here and try to do this. I could have probably have done it before I put the servo horn on. Would have been much easier, but I didn't think about that. Now we'll go ahead and just tighten this up. Okay, now that is tight. So now this servo is, new horn is on, and we are good to go. So this servo can go back into here. We can push all these wires back, push the servo into place, and the servo can go. Now I'm going to pull these screws back out and Loctite them later, but for the point of the video, of course, Loctite your screws. Got to realign this servo up. There we go. All right, so now we are going to do the back elevator now, or the elevator servo. This servo did not break the horn. I inspected it really good. There's no cracks or anything in the horn, so this servo is good on this side. So we can go ahead and clip this ball link in, and we can do the same on this side. We can clip this in. So now both of our servos are in. They are just let me move the radio real quick. They are straight. Everything is 90 and leveled. So now we can go ahead and do the back servo, the elevator servo. So the elevator servo has a screw here and a screw here. So this servo gets screwed in this way. So we're going to come in through the landing gear here. Let me try to get this to where you can see it the best. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pull these two screws. We got one here. We're going to put the screw aside here. Move this out of the way. And then we got another one here, which this is definitely not the easiest screws to get to. The other side is nice to go through there, but this side isn't as easy. Okay, so now we are going to slide the servo out this way. Just remember, when we go to put it back, we'll slide it that way, but we're going to do the same. So with this one, I'm going to go ahead and pop the anti-rotation out of the bracket, anti-rotation pin, and I'm going to go ahead, since it's much easier to do it off the servo, I will go ahead and thread the ball onto the servo horn itself. So set this here, move this stuff out of our way. So we're going to go ahead and grab our ball links, and now we're going to look at this and know that the servo horn is going to go into, the servo is going to go into it this way with the motor towards the left side of the frame, and our horn is going to go on the servo towards the motor of the frame. I'll show you in a second when I get to that point. Try to move it. Sorry, my camera filled up. So we are back now again. I deleted a bunch of stuff, so hopefully now we are good for the rest of the video. Okay, back to what we were doing. So we have the elevator servo pulled out. Again, we are in centering on the servo menu. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to pull this screw out for the servo horn. We're going to set it aside. And we're going to pull off our broken horn. So that is our broken part of our horn. And again, we have our brand new horn here. So we are going to first switch the ball link on the helicopter while we have it here, and make it easier than trying to do it when the horn is on the servo, as I found out with the last servo that we just did. So we are going to pull the nut off and then hold the little broken part of the arm and pull the screw out. Oh, as I drop the driver, straighten this so it doesn't, I can get the driver back in and it doesn't walk. Okay. So now we are going to take our horn, and our horn is going to fit inside of there this way. So again, this is going to thread in the front side of the horn. So let's get our driver back inside the ball. This is going to go into the horn to the front side. And we want just a couple threads sticking through so we can get our nut on. And like so. It's definitely a little more difficult to work with smaller helicopters, when lately I've been working on 550s and bigger and had the 760 apart probably 50 times. Okay, so now we have our horn on, we have our ball link on. So now we are going to go ahead and put the anti-rotation bracket back into place. So now our servo horn sticking out the side. So now, actually, we're going to pull that back out. We're going to do that afterwards. So now we can go ahead, and again, the motor is going to face the left side of the helicopter. So we're going to try to do it like this. This might not work. Yeah, that's not going to work. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to pull our linkage off of here. Use a set of ball link pliers if they are big enough. Yep, okay. We are going to put our servo horn on. So it will go on like this. And we're gonna need to make sure this one is 90'd, which we are off a little bit. So let's try to move it 1 tooth. We are off the other way. So that gives us the perfect reason now. So let's put our screw back in, and we're gonna go into the controller, and we are going to center this horn, because we want this to be completely centered. So now we are going to go. So this one is moving this servo. Okay, so now elevator. We are going to move it, and we are perfect there. As you can see, it is perfectly straight. We are good to go now. So now we're going to try to slide this whole thing up in here like this, which we did perfectly. And as you can see, this is the way the servo goes back. The motor fits out this side. We are going to go ahead and flip it over. So now when I had to delete stuff off of camera, I ended up going back and re-Loctiting those servos screws. So we're going to go back and Loctite this now. So just a drop of Loctite is all we need. We don't need much, just a drop. So now we're going to run this one through the landing gear. We are going to hold the servo into position like so. Try to get it started and snug it down. Now this one is a little bit more of a pain. Here, you either need a really long driver or just to kind of fight it out like I'm doing here. So we're going to go ahead and grab it with our needle nose. Blow all the Loctite. As you can see, there was a lot of Loctite on this screw. A lot. Usually I would clean these screws, but for right now, this will be fine. So we can just take a dab of Loctite here, and we are going to run this servo back into position. We're going to try to get it as close as we can here. It just is not working well for us, so we are just going to go ahead and push it up into place. Try to spin it in. There we go. Kind of have to angle the driver. But now we are tight on that screw, and we are tight on that screw. So now our servo is tight and back into place. So now we will go ahead and slide this back through the rotation. We'll go ahead and gently pull the rotation back to get it into place, like so. And pop our link on. Everything is good. Just want to double check that it's tight, which it is. So now we're going to go ahead and look at our swash plate. So now we can see that our swash plate is definitely not level. It is back. But both of our servos are not level either. So our aileron or pitch servo here needs to go. We need to center that one, which we are centered. And our pitch servo is centered, but our swash plate is not. So what we'll do is we will, once we put the blades on, we'll adjust this later. But now, you know, our servo arms are on. They are centered from what it looks like. Actually, the elevator servo can go up just a tad bit. So now all of our servo arms are perfectly 90'd all the way around. So now we need to go through, and using the turnbuckles here, you will rotate up or down to raise or lower the swash. But again, I'm going to wait till I get the blades on so I can see what I need to do. But that is how now we can push and hold to set our settings. Now everything is set, and now everything is actually level. And that is, of course, negative pitch. So we're going to go back into it, and at mid stick it is. So that's weird why in servo mode it was off. I don't know, but it looks good now. I got to look into that. But everything is working now. So we are ready to put the blades on and go fly this thing. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope these videos have helped you repair your OMP Hobby M2. I learned along the way. I'm super happy with the helicopter. I'm glad to have it back. Off camera, I'm going to go ahead and vinyl wrap the tail boom to match, and this thing will be ready to fly. So thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. Have a great day.